So today, we're talking about what it means to be all in. And so for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be setting the stage for the rest of the year. So the rest of the year, we're going to be talking about these key 3 things for us to understand what it really, really means to be all in. So when we think of this word, or these words, it's 2 words, school. 2 words. I think of a word called commitment. You guys heard this word before. It's a word that we kind of throw around a lot. And to be honest, I think some of us, we don't necessarily know exactly what it means. You know, when I think of commitment, I think of one of my former students. This week, she is actually flying to a country in Africa to live there for 2 years. She chose to live there for 2 years because she is passionate about helping others. She just finished college being a nurse. And so she's trained, she's ready to go. She's always wanted to do this, and now she's doing it. And so when I look at her life, she's just accomplished so much for a girl her age that I think a lot of high schoolers and junior hires could really look up to her and be like, wow, how can I achieve that much someday? But in order to achieve, we must first commit. So whatever your plans are in life, whatever you want to achieve, it all starts with commitment. So today, I want to challenge you to live the rest of the school year this way, to commit yourself completely. Say it with me. Commit yourself completely. Cool, that was a little weak, but we'll try it again. Commit yourself completely. Yeah, I feel it. I feel the energy today. So the question for a lot of you guys is, well, how do I get to where I want to be? Like, I have goals of, like, I want to be this when I grow up, or I want to be this, but how do I get there? Well, the first step is commitment. And with commitment takes effort. Unfortunately, teenagers are not known for putting forward a whole lot of effort all the time. And I remember what it's like. I remember what it's like being a teenager. But I also had this question the other day that really made me think. Like, what if everybody just kind of gave some effort? Like, nobody actually ever committed completely. They just gave some effort. I think life would probably look like this meme. You've probably all seen this. It starts out really great, and by the end you're like, I don't really care anymore. For some of you guys, this is probably what your homework looks like. You know, you're just like SpongeBob spending all that time when he's writing his essay on the word the, and then you have like nothing else. You're like, well, what am I going to do now? And so when we don't put forth complete effort, this unfortunately is the result. But what would life look like if we just gave half of our effort? What would life look like? Buildings would probably collapse every day because an architect was just like, good enough. Probably not great. We would all probably get food poisoning every day because every chef would be like, this chicken's pretty close to being done. It's probably good. So instead of getting up to the 165, this 140 is probably fine. And so you're just one bad chicken nugget away from a hospital visit. You never know how close you're going to get to death because somebody didn't commit. And so I think a lot of times when we look at life and we think of commitment, unfortunately we have this bad idea because we have a lot of bad examples out there about what commitment looks like. If nobody was committed, everyone would treat you like a Walmart employee treats you. If you've ever been to Walmart, you know that this guy clearly does not work there. Number 1, he's smiling. Never happens. Number 2, he's actually a pretty attractive dude. And I'm sorry, but if you work at Walmart, you're probably like a 6 or lower. So sorry if your parents work at Walmart or your brother and sister do, but let's be honest, they're probably a 6 or lower. Let's be honest. And look what he's doing. He's like waving people. He's like, my cashier register is open. Come on down. That never happens. There's always like 20 people. You're stuck behind the mom with all the coupons, and you're just like, I just want to leave. I'm trying to get his mustard. And so this never happens. And unfortunately, Walmart has a bad rap. Walmart has a bad rap because they're just known about being the cheapest. And that's fine. If you want to go there and get the cheapest mustard like I do, then you go there. Pay my 35 cents for some mustard and call it a day. But you don't really get treated that well. On the other side of the spectrum, you have a company like Disney. Who's been to Disneyland recently? Yeah. Disneyland, if you haven't been, Think about everything you know about Walmart and the complete opposite of that. That's what Disneyland is. I actually just went a couple weeks ago, just me and my wife. Don't tell my 3-year-old daughter that we went, or else she would be very mad. We still have not told her. But we were there, and the thing that strikes me every single time that I'm at Disneyland is just how committed all the people that work there are. Because if you've been there, you know that the people in the costumes, they're always in character, but even the people picking up trash, even the people working in the restaurants, they're all considered cast members. They call themselves cast members because they all have a part to play. They are all committed to everything that they do. So the question for you is, where do you fall in the spectrum between Disneyland and Walmart? Like, how committed are you? I remember how the first few weeks of school went. You know, being a teenager was not that long ago for me. Doing the math. It was 13, 14 years ago for me is when I was a teenager. So, it's not that long ago, but I remember what the first weeks of school were like. I remember that it was not cool to try. It's cool not to try. It's cool just to sit there and just kind of stare at your teacher when they ask questions. Who discovered America? What is another name for a person, place, or thing? What is your name? So you just sit there. And I'm sure the teachers are feeling this right now. It's just like pulling teeth to get you guys to answer a question. Because for whatever reason, you don't want to be judged by being like too eager. You don't want to be the Hermione Granger being like, ooh, I know. And, like, nobody really likes that person. But you don't want to be the person on the other side of the spectrum either. So what I would challenge you to start thinking about in terms of commitments is the fact that your commitments make you who you are. Your commitments make you who you are. Every choice that you make is a little step towards that future version of you. Now, every commitment that you make, you know, sometimes it's not going to always pan out. And sometimes you're going to mess up. But every time you try to make a commitment, you're building the future version of yourself. So bigger commitments have bigger impacts. Smaller commitments, maybe they don't have the immediate impact, but they add up over time. Like if you've ever baked a cake before or baked cookies, then you know that the ingredients matter. And you know that switching something like the salt and the sugar, they seem like that little of a thing, but it can completely ruin your cookies. And I speak from experience. Don't switch your salt and sugar, it's disgusting. And I like salt, but I don't like salty cookies. So every little bit counts. So the question for you today is, what commitments can you make? Thinking about this school year, 2019 to 2020, what commitments can you make? Because little things add up, and big things add up as well. And there's really 3 main areas that we can look at that are what you're facing right now. So look at these 3. There's basic things, you have interests, and relationships. These are the 3 things that you are developing right now as a junior high student. So even little things, like the basic things, are actually pretty big things. Like, what's a basic thing you're doing right now? Well, you are sitting there, you're listening, most of you are listening, you're acting like a polite human being, you're not just jumping up here, like dancing around me and like slapping me and stuff. Like, you could physically do that. Like some of you probably want to do that. Come up here and do that. But you're learning what it means to be like a normal human being. You sit and you listen. So you're developing social skills. You're developing certain skills that are coming handy when you're an adult. You know, you'll become a more dependable person. You'll become a good listener. You'll respect others. Slapping somebody in the face is not respecting them, as much as you want to think the contrary. But basic things, like answering your teacher's questions, help you develop into that person. Another area that especially is big in junior high and high school is your interests. You tend to get a lot more focused on the things that you're interested in and the things that you want to do later in life. And so interests like in the arts, whether it's acting or drawing or whatever, or even in sports. Like you get connected with a certain group of people and you tend to become like that group of people. So when we commit, we're not only committing to a thing, like a club or a sport or an interest, but we're committing to the type of person that we're going to be. And also at this time in your life, you're committing to different kinds of relationships. Like you have your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. If you have all four of those, that's cool. If you don't have all four of those, you probably still have at least one of those things. And those relationships, they stay with you the rest of your life. Unfortunately, you're kind of committed to them already. But in junior high and high school, you start dating relationships. They start to get a little bit more serious. And some of the commitments that you make in junior high and high school could have a big impact on who you become in the future. You know, there's a chance that in the next 5 years, you could meet the person that you're going to marry. Maybe even in the next 5 minutes. I don't know. You could like look behind you and they're right there. Don't do that, that's weird. I wanted to tell you the statistic that statistically only 2% of high school relationships actually end in marriage, so good shot at that. But within the next 10 years, it's definitely in the realm of possibility that you're going to find that person. And you might even be married to them in 10 years. Who knows? So relationships, families, these are all types of commitments that we kind of understand. But in junior high and high school, this is a really important time for you to start practicing those things. So in the end, commitments make you who you are. And this year, you could be making a commitment that could change your life. So remember, commit yourself completely, because you never know where that commitment is going to go. Peace.